Yo, what's good? Welcome to another Keybase journal. I think that this video is going to change the way you look at playing the bass, learning music, or any other instrument or whatever. I recently got a compliment that I took to heart from my buddy Ed Friedland. And he was saying how, basically, like, he was like, I'm impressed with how much mobility you've gotten in a short amount of time with the synth bass. Listen, and he jokingly said, I guess practice does work. So in this video, what I want to show you is some practice techniques that work across the board for any instrument. I know they do for me. I know they do for several other people. And listen, not ignorant again to the keyboard itself, but this is a different kind of thing. So as far as like feel and all that, how stuff works. So anyway, there are timestamps below, but I'm gonna give you my whole kind of shtick on how I do this, and I think it's definitely gonna be worth a share, a follow, a like, and a subscribe. Well, at least a like and a subscribe. Hook your boy up. So check this out. This is the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make sure, because I can't do it on my this metronome app I'm using doesn't have one. But first thing is a timer, right? This is gonna be important, okay? Because for everything that I do, that I show you here, it's gonna be some time involved. Some of this stuff I've already done, but here's the thing that I'm working on getting the mobility of. I don't know if it's a synth bass on the record, if it's real bass mixed with a synth bass. I've actually done a tutorial on this in the past on electric bass and realized that some stuff I did in there was wrong. But that's a story for another time. Anyway, it should be already obvious what the tune is. Okay. I'm not going to talk about notes or anything like that, but I'm going to talk about my process. So the first part of the process is finding the notes, right? And now with great tools like Moises, finding the notes is easy. So I've done this part already, so I'm going to spare you that. But what I would do is give that a time limit, right? A minute, 5 minutes, but an amount of time where it's like that's the only thing that I'm concentrating on in that time. That's step number one. Find the notes. Right? Without time. This is where, my disagreement, I think a lot of people, this is where my agreement with Jeff Berlin comes in when he talks about metronomes. As far as metronomes go, none of us learn how to drive on the freeway. We all most of us learn how to drive in empty parking lots. So before we get on the freeway, but at some point you got to introduce time, and we'll get there. Well, I'll talk about that in this video, but that's what it is. All right. Let me turn this up a little bit. Yeah, it's the day after Thanksgiving, man. Okay. So Pete, now that I'm taking the time to find those notes, right? Now I'm going to put some rhythm to this and some time, but I'm not going to add the metronome. Okay, I just want to see if I can get them in order. And for this, I'm going to set a timer for 1 minute. I'm not worried about time. This is my focus for this minute. Also, what I wanted to say in the first part is, in finding the notes, is also finding fingerings that seem to make sense in the moment, at least, right? What can I repeat? What is repeatable? I'm only going to worry about that part of the phrase. Okay, so timer's done. Let's say I'm now going to, that's the first phrase. But there's the next part of that phrase. So what I'm going to do, this is still even before the metronome is introduced. That's going to be the next note. So what I'm going to do is concentrate on adding that next note. And I want to train this finger to get to that note every time. Oops. Well, oops, I forgot to set the timer. Two, three, four. And in this time, I also want to maybe add I'm going to stop my timer for a second. Add the extra element of, can I take, depending on where I'm at, can I take my hands away from the keyboard and then get them back into position? All these little tests are going to be like, am I ready to move on? One, can I play it, let's say, 7 times without making a mistake, right? One of the challenges that I give to myself is like, if you give yourself the challenge of playing it 7 times without making a mistake, and you play it you get to the 7th rep and you make a mistake, then you have to start your count over again, right? That's a little extreme, but two. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. 3. That's 5. That's 6. 3, 4. Now, the next part of the challenge could be, am I bumping up a tempo or anything, right? I'm not going to worry about that. What I'm going to worry about now, the next level of difficulty I'm going to add is whatever the next note is. So, right? Or 2 notes. 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. So I would start the count again, but for the sake of video, I'm not going to do that. 3, 4. Right? And this is a very, I'm not going to call it a beginner thing or even an intermediate thing. It's just a thing, right? But this is like, I'm a professional bass player. I've been a musician a long time. This is me learning something new. And this is my thought process. You know, I've had lessons with people myself, and what I have wanted to know more than anything is what their thought process is. How do you get from point A to point B? Not necessarily wanting to play like them or anything like that, but just how do you, you know? Okay. There was another test for myself. Could I talk a little bit and then come right back to the line? 3, 4. Right? So that's feeling like it might be getting to the point where I can add the metronome in, right? Haven't touched the metronome just yet. All right. So let's add the next phrase or note. No, there it is. Mm. That's why that's why we're not I'm not in a position to add time just yet. So right there, I got the notes right, but the time was off, and that's okay. I'm still aware that the time is off, right? I'm gonna fix that, but I don't want to hesitate on those notes, and I don't need to put that pressure on myself yet. The metronome does need to come in, right? Just not right now. Also, I always want to start this line. I'm trying to build up muscle memory. Ah. Okay, I lost focus. And that's where this timer situation comes in, right? Because if I put a timer on and I say, this is what you're going to concentrate on for a prescribed amount of time, this one thing, one, it becomes like a meditation. Two, that's it. It becomes a meditation, and it's more likely to get ingrained. So I'm going to set a timer now for myself for 2 minutes, right? You are welcome to watch along. My phone started ringing. Let's try that again. Phone call distracted me. I should have turned my ringer off. And also for the sound of this particular patch, again, I don't know if it's a synth bass on the record or if it's it sounds like it might be a real bass, but that's not the point. The point is that there's another element that I would consider in practicing is the feel, right? Because when I do that, is different than a different sound than. You see what I'm saying? Timer just got done. So, I'm gonna, again, there are timestamps here. I'm gonna continue this because I've decided that this is gonna be my study piece for the next week or so. But all of these things, I may never play the song in a live situation. I may, who knows? But it's getting the mobility, and in the process, getting more comfortable with learning how this particular synthesizer works, just spending time with it, right? There are times when we buy instruments and things like that. Someone's, I'm just gonna say it. Some of y'all got like 15 basses, man, and having a hard time playing just one of them. That's just the real deal, right? Sometimes you just got to play with what you got and understand how that thing works. Somebody asked me in Instagram what made me choose this particular synth and not something, more robust or whatever. One was, the price. It was like, let me buy the, one of the least expensive ones that is out there that I could still go out there and do some pro level stuff with, and not go, and it'll easily pay for itself, right? It'll pay for itself quickly, as opposed to spending, $1,000 on something that, I don't know how the journey is going to go. So anyway, that's it for this video. Hit that like button, man. Hit that subscribe button. I think it's worth it. So, anyway, appreciate y'all. Peace.